Hello everybody, my name is Chuck. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, and I made this video to point out exactly why Jesus Christ is really Satan, the morning star, and hence why Isaiah 14:12 of the Old Testament lists Lucifer as the morning star. Then of course Jesus calls himself the morning star all throughout the New Testament. But before I even get started talking about the Bible, the first excuse I'd like to get out of the way right off the bat is translation. That's the first thing that is brought up anytime I start talking about what I talk about, and it goes against what Christians are taught to believe. That, well, it's lost in the translation. Well, if it's lost in the translation, the whole Christian religion is lost in the translation. Period. Especially this first page of the Bible. If that's lost in the translation, the Christian religion is lost in the translation, period. Like I said, then there's no reason to be a Christian or read the Bible. So that's the first excuse I hear, and I'd get rid of that right off the bat. Because, like I said, Christianity is nothing more than the words of men that tell stories that cover up what's really going on in the Bible. And like I said, that's one of the first excuses that comes up, especially even when you talk about the Morning Star reference from Isaiah 14:12. Oh, well, that's just the New International Version, it's a bad translation. Like I said, it's all translation. But like I said, that's the first excuse I just want to get out of the way right off the bat. Alright, what it boils down to is this. This first page will tell you, I think I can convince you why Jesus is Satan on the first page. And it's all really, really simple, and it's almost silly. But here's what it boils down to. The Christian church is telling you that the two stories of creation in Genesis are two stories about the same creation. And I don't think that's a claim that the Bible backs at all. I think the Bible makes really clear that these are two different creations on two different days. That's the most important difference. By two different creators, made in two different orders, made in two completely different ways, and for completely different reasons. And it all boils down to this. The Christian church is telling you that Adam and Eve were first. And I don't think that's a claim that the Bible will back. And here's why. It's pretty simple. Every day of creation is ended with the exact same sentence. And I'll just start from the beginning, and I'm not going to read it all. You can read the first page yourself. But like I said, I'll just read through and start it off and show you how every day ends. Like I said, this is the first day. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And this is Genesis 1:5. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Clearly ending the first day, this is the beginning of the second day. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the heavens, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Skipping ahead to Genesis 1:8. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. Clearly ending the second day, just like the first day. This is the beginning of the third day. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And skipping ahead to Genesis 1:13. And the evening and the morning were the third day, clearly ending the third day, just like all these days are ended by the same sentence. And in every one of these, it's God. It's not the Lord God, it's God. So that's the end of the third day, this is the beginning of the fourth day. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, very important, and for seasons and for days and years. Skipping ahead to Genesis 1:19. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Clearly ending the fourth day, this is the beginning of the fifth day on Genesis 1:20. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life. And skipping ahead to Genesis 1:23. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. Clearly ending the fifth day, making Genesis 1:24 and the first telling of creation the sixth day. This is the beginning of the sixth day, and I'll read it right from where we just left off. Genesis 1:24. And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let us make men in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Clearly ending the sixth day the exact same way that all the first 6 days of creation are ended, with that same sentence. And the evening and the morning were the blank day. That is the last line of Genesis chapter 1, making Genesis chapter 2 the beginning of the seventh day. And I'll just pick up right where I left off. And this is why it's clearly different creations right here. They're on different days. This first one is on the sixth day. The sixth day has now ended in Genesis 1:31. Chapter 2 is the beginning of the seventh day. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day, and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the heavens and the earth and the heavens. You see what's going on here? The reason that this was clearly two different creations is this is the seventh day. God has rested, God has sanctified the seventh day, and now the Lord God is beginning to work on the seventh day. That's blasphemy. Thou shalt not work on the seventh day. God has just sanctified the seventh day in Genesis 2:3. He has rested, and therefore the Lord God cannot be God, because the Lord God is working and God is resting on the seventh day, which would make the Lord God Satan, the Lord of this world, and hence why he is the Lord God, because he is the Lord of this world. God has rested. This is the seventh day, chapter 2. Like I said, on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made. This is the seventh day, and God has rested, God has sanctified the seventh day, and now the Lord God is beginning to make Adam and Eve on the seventh day. And therefore, Adam and Eve were not first. How can they be first? If they were made on the seventh day, and God made people on the sixth day, well, the last time I checked, the sixth day comes before the seventh day. How can Adam and Eve be first? These are clearly two different creations on two different days. The first by God, the second by the Lord God, Satan, who cannot be God because God is resting on the seventh day. And the Lord God is working, and that is blasphemy. Thou shalt not work on the seventh day, that God is sanctified. And that's what makes the Lord God Satan, and that's what makes Jesus Satan right there. The Christian church is saying that these are two stories about the same creation, when they are clearly not. The Lord God isn't God. The Lord, they try to connect it with the Christian Trinity, which is a nonsense, man-made concept made in 250 or 300 AD by the Council of Nicaea, and then they try to retroactively superimpose it to the first page. It's nonsense. It doesn't even make it off the first page. God rests, and the Lord God begins working on the seventh day, and therefore they cannot be the same being right there. And like I said, the change of days is what it makes it important and makes it proof that this is the Lord God, that it's Satan, because he is working on the seventh day, that God is sanctified. So right there it should give you a good idea. Adam and Eve didn't start with God. They weren't made by God. They started with Satan, and therefore the family lineage that started with Adam and Eve and ends with Jesus, that becomes Jesus, started with Satan, not God. And that's why Jesus is the morning star. Satan, the morning star. And hence why the reference is there. That's part 1. Part 2 coming up.